Welcome back, Delt Nation. It is one Delt day of giving 22. Things continue to progress forward. We are currently ahead of last year by 3 donors and about $30,000. So thank you everyone who has contributed thus far to a meaningful first day here of this Delt Day of Giving 2022. We are joined now by the Director of Risk Response and Education, Tiffani Ziemann. Tiffani, it's good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm good, Vince. How are you?
Doing well. Having a blast back here in Fishers, here at the command center at 10,000 Allisonville. Things are going well, but we are super excited to hear what's going on with risk response and education, helping chapters make the right choices, continue to make the right choices. And I know that you wanted to talk a little bit about the risk philosophy of Delta Tau Delta. So I wanted to give you the floor.
Excellent. Thanks, Vince. I really appreciate the opportunity to spend a few minutes with you today. I've had fun watching it from a distance at my home office in Colorado. And so I'm really excited to have a chance to talk a little bit about our approach to risk management in the fraternity. About 2 years ago, we really sat down and started thinking about what are the needs of our members when it comes to risk management and risk education. And so we developed this philosophy about how do we just respond and support when things occur in our chapters. And it has 5 tenets that we really try to drive our work to when we're working with our chapters and our campus partners. Those include well-being. So really want to think about the safety of our members, of our alumni, of our guests, making sure it's not just physical well-being, but as Kelly talked about earlier, kind of all of those components of what it means for wellness and well-being. Next is self-governance. This is a leadership fraternity. And so really providing our members the opportunity to be leaders, have autonomy, have self-ownership over the fraternity experience, and teaching them the skills that they need to manage their organization. Another big component is education, both as fraternity, educating our chapters and our chapter members, but also equipping them to educate each other and themselves about fraternity policy, campus policy, good decision-making, accountability, all of those pieces that they need to be kind of responsible community members. The next is supporting members. Often when risk management things occur, it is stressful. It can be scary sometimes. It can be a lot of learning that happens. And so really making sure that we're supporting our members through the difficult times, that they have access to the resources that they need to learn and grow and navigate these issues as they arise. And finally, partnering. But we want to be good partners with our chapters. We want to be good partners with our university and college hosts. And so making sure that we're working together to provide the best possible fraternity experience that we can, especially when there's issues or problems that occur.
That's great to hear. And it's exciting to hear there's such an omni-layered approach to working with chapters and finding creative solutions while promoting that self-governance. Now, you mentioned working with people like Kelly Fox and working within different teams here at the central office and different people that we've heard from earlier today. And there's similar themes with wellness and things like that. Could you talk a little bit more about the overlap between the teams and how that helps you excel in your role?
Yeah, one of the things I really value about Delta Tau Delta and the structure of our central office is that ability to partner, that it's not just on one person, one department to provide the support our members need. And so we're working really closely with folks that we've talked to already today, Kelly Fox, Alex Kennedy, Andy Longo, to really think about what are the programs and the resources that our members need, and how do we work together to get those into our chapters, whether it is partnering on a major national program, like new member educator training, whether it is us helping with Ignite or other programs that are occurring, looking at the member impact study and thinking about how our chapters need our resources, and really trying to tailor our programs. And so it's not just this focuses on this type of education and this focuses on risk management, but really connecting the dots for our members so they understand that well-being and risk management can go hand in hand, or education around accountability is a leadership skill, and how all those pieces fit together. And so we are really lucky that we have teams that work really closely together, want to partner, and want to make sure that we're providing our members a holistic experience.
I certainly think that Delts today have seen that on full display, seen the array of talented people that contribute at a high level and do work together to create an atmosphere of really getting things done to promote a holistic experience, as you've mentioned. So very much appreciative of that. Tell me a little bit more about some of the educational programming coming down the pipeline. I know we talked a little bit about stuff around sexual assault prevention, but even some programming going further than just that.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm really excited about what's ahead of us in April in particular. So April is Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. And so we are working with the folks in risk management, myself and Dana Finley Morrison, who is our accountability training coordinator, are working with the programming team to identify opportunities to talk about chapter culture and learning within the chapter. And so more information will be coming out to our members soon about these opportunities, but we're going to do a program about utilizing the member impact study to have conversations in your chapter. We'll be pushing out a lot of resources and ways that chapters can lead conversations and spend time on their campuses having this difficult conversation about sexual assault and prevention and ways that they can be advocates and allies in that. We'll be hosting some roundtables for chapter officers and chapter advisors about how to respond when issues do occur in the chapter. And finally, I'm really excited about this. This may be letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, but we're actually partnering with a National Sorority, Sigma Delta Tau, and we're going to co-host a major speaker around chapter culture and sexual assault prevention, and really try to have that conversation together, because this is a great time to really dig deep into kind of what's occurring on our campuses and how we can be good advocates and allies and change makers in our communities. And so those are some programs that are coming up in April. One of the other things that I'm really excited about, as Doug mentioned earlier when he was talking, we've changed some of our staffing structure, and we really have an opportunity to get proactive when it comes to risk management education. And so I mentioned Dana, our accountability training coordinator. She works alongside me and our programming team to really tailor the needs of our members in a way that's proactive and not just reactive. A lot of times people think about risk management education as just a follow-up to when an incident occurs, but we have the opportunity to work with chapters and find out what is really needed for their specific chapter, and how can we tailor, whether it is a chapter presentation, whether it is a workshop, whether it is just giving out resources, facilitating how to have difficult conversations to our particular chapters so it benefits them directly and not just kind of this global overarching approach to it. And that's been really great. We've been able to spend time in, even virtually over the past 2 years, in our chapters, really working with them directly about educating them on accountability and self-governance and all of those things that we talked about earlier. So it's really exciting to see the work that's being done and kind of the approach to be proactive and not just reactive with our groups.
I couldn't agree more, Tiffani, and I'm certainly very appreciative, and I'm sure that Delts across the world are as well. And I think you hit on some really awesome things, including that community aspect, where the work that we do to prepare men to be better in society, make other people better in society, and create a safer society for everyone. So certainly very appreciative of all the work that you, Dana, and everyone on staff is doing, and certainly appreciate you taking time to talk with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Vix. I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you, and good luck for the rest of the day.
Thank you so much. Tiffani Ziemann, everyone, our Director of Risk Response and Education. A lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline on that front. So as it stands, we are just a few dollars short of $150,000 raised. So get your gifts in. There's plenty of opportunities throughout the evening. We know a lot of people on the West Coast are just starting to see their workday come to a close, and that will continue over the next 3-4 hours. So we hope to see those numbers jump even higher, as we're at 274 gifts. 26 more will get us to 300. We'll see if we can get that done here over the next hour. I'm going to be hopping off and heading over to Instagram Live between 6:30 and 6:45. We'll be shouting out some other folks that have been making some gifts and giving an update geared a little bit more towards undergraduates, but certainly towards alumni as well. So you won't want to miss that. We'll also have some stories from parents, so stick around for that, and they can talk about how they've seen their undergraduate Delts have a meaningful experience. But until then, I'm Vince Russo, your host. Again, we're at $148,000 raised here on the One Delt Day of Giving 2022.